All right. Shalom. I want to start off by saying Kal Halal Limla, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Hakakwadash. Double honors to the head apostles of GMS. And a salute to you all kings that are tuning in. I'm the servant of GMS Boston, coming back at you with another show. And this time I want to talk about a show in RT News, which is Russia Today. All right. Now, as I've said in previous lessons, we filter everything to the scriptures. This is how we're able to distinguish between information and misinformation. All right. Now, the scriptures is very clear. Prophecy is clear, right? Even though we understand that it is only given to a select few people to understand it, right? Because the scriptures have been around for, thousands of years, and nobody has really come to the full understanding of the prophecies written in the book, man. Which is why the scriptures refer to itself as the dark sayings. All right. The Lord spoke in parables because it wasn't meant for everybody to get it. All right. Now, without further ado, now the article heading reads, "The crisis in America, democracy is only intensifying. The mistrust that caused a Capitol riot last January shows no sign of abating. With Joe Biden unable to bring together a divided country, how this seething resentment manifests itself next is an alarming prospect for America." So America is going through birth pains, man. You know how when a woman is about to deliver a baby, she goes through contractions because something is about to happen, and that's exactly what America is going through, man. All right, and America, it's on the brink of being destroyed. All right, and it's starting internally, but eventually it will be destroyed by thermonuclear fire. All right, now I just want to focus a little bit on the internal part, right? Because this is what we're about, man. America is a terrible place. All right, the because of the philosophies, the way of thinking, the way of life, which is totally contrary to the word of the Heavenly Father, which is the law, statutes, and commandments of the Bible, man. It calls itself, or it prides itself in being this God-fearing nation, when in reality, everything that's allowed to happen in America, totally contradicts that notion that they're a God-fearing nation. This is not a God-fearing nation. All right, because if they fear the Heavenly Father, you wouldn't pass laws protecting, homosexual rights and the alphabet group, if they indeed fear the Heavenly Father. All right. And if they did indeed fear the Heavenly Father, you wouldn't have women's lib. You wouldn't have all these things that pretty much is destroying families, right? It's destroying, the natural course of things. These things wouldn't be around, right? Because that's all found in the Bible, right? And things are getting worse and worse, man. The scriptures say, because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. People don't give a shit about anybody no more, man. Somebody could be in the road stranded, and you could have 50 cars go by, and not a single goddamn car will stop to help that person, man. And that's contrary to the Bible, right? Because according to the scriptures, if you have a stranger that goes by your land, you're supposed to give them lodging. You're supposed to house them, for their time being, and without a fear in the world. Because, back in the ancient days, there was a sense of fear, a true fear for the Heavenly Father, for what he can do when you broke the laws, statutes, and commandments. And this is why we say that we want America destroyed, because we want all that to be back. We want all that to return. We want to be able to leave our children outside and not have to worry about a goddamn pedophile, or a goddamn deranged individual to come and snatch up your kids or do something to your kids, right? And then you can't even do nothing about it, man. You can't take justice into your own hand. You got to leave it up to East justice, which is not even justice. It's more of a goddamn cash cow. All right, his whole judicial system is nothing more than a goddamn cash cow where everybody gets paid, right? We want our women to respect us again, man. You know, and you know, I'm expounding a little bit. I'm just going with the spirit. All right, you know, it's all through the spirit, right? That I have to touch bases on this, because this is the reasons why America needs to go, and this is the reasons why America, you know, will not work. You know, where there's chaos, there's no order, there's no structure, things cannot work. A machine works in order, and it needs to be fully oiled, always maintained, you know, and it needs to be working in order, right? Every part in the machine got to do its what it's intended to do. Otherwise, the machine will seize. You know, like a car. If you have a car, you know, the cylinders do one thing, the spark plugs do one thing, you know, you know, the wheels do one thing, right? But if one of them goes, then the car goes, right? So this is what we're saying, man. The world is a big machine. I've always said it. The world is a big machine. Now the creator of that machine have left an instruction manual on how to run it. But I'm doing a little bit too much talking, Salakia. First and foremost, let me bring out the scriptures. Mark 3:25 says this, and if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand, right? So just like the analogy of the machine, right? The wheel can't try to do what the pistons is trying to do. You know, it can't go against the pistons. It can't, you know, it can't be divided, because then it'll just stop. It's common sense. And the way America is going and is headed, you know, is headed towards its own demise, man. You know, which is great news for us, right? The servants of the Lord. Matthew 12:26, the Lord reiterated, it says, and if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? And this is Satan's kingdom, because this is the chief seat of the so-called white man's kingdom, man, which is Satan, the Bible, that the Bible speaks of, man, which the word Satan goes into adversary. Like I said earlier, you know, this man is adverse to everything that has to do with the Lord, with the Heavenly Father and his only begotten Son. If the Lord said, be fruitful and multiply, he will tell you here's a contraceptive. You know, here's an abortion clinic. You know, if the Lord said, if a man laid down with a man, you know, both should be put to death, what they do, you know, here's a law where even if you voice or say anything about that, you're going to go to jail. You know, if the scriptures say, I don't know, many countless things, right, that are contrary to the Bible, man. You know, and this is why America is the way it is, man. You know, but we've been warning you, the prophet's been warning you people, there's going to be a race riot in America soon, you know, and you can see it. You can see the divide, man. All you got to do is just go through your through your town, right? And you're going to see how one neighbor in one house will have a Blue Lives Matter flag, you know. The other neighbor in the other house will have a Black Lives Matter flag or a rainbow, you know, and they display, right, the division. You know, you can clearly see the division, man. You know, we talking a whole neighborhood where they're supposed to be neighbors, right? But you watch when that time comes. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna get right here. Isaiah 13:14, it says, and it shall be as the chase roe, and as a sheep that no man taketh up. They shall every man turn to his own people, and flee every one into his own land. So everybody's gonna, you know, it's gonna go for their own, man. Ain't nobody gonna care that, you know, your neighbor, you know, how long your neighbors have been sharing the milk and butter. At the end of the day, man, when all hell breaks loose, you know, that's when really the rubber's gonna meet the road, per se, right? As the elder Adama loves to say, right? You know, so when it's all, you know, when there's a time of need and famine out there, you know, ain't nobody gonna take